ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to Power Vacuum. I'm your host, Belmont, and it seems we have a small little development, maybe, in the Nintendo Power World lawsuit. I don't think it's actually a development, but this is something I found interesting based on the headline. I saw it a couple days ago, just now getting around to it. But let's look at this from Games Radar. Power World dev says a Dark Souls 3 mod invalidates Nintendo's Pokeball patent. Nintendo says mods don't count as real games, and an expert worries prior art precedents could see a modder's work used against them. Okay, so I read this headline a couple days ago, and it I thought it was just going to be about modding Dark Souls 3, but I guess it's deeper than that. Um, this language didn't set in with me. This is implying that Nintendo views all mods as not lawsuit worthy, which seems weird because mods can affect. You know what? Let's get into the article and see what it actually says. Modders would become fair game as their ideas could be patented by someone else. So yes, your idea can be patented by somebody else. The issue is, where does copyright and trademark fall? Where does intellectual property fall? Where does so that this is the biggest issue with copyright is that not copyright, patents. With patents is that people can patent something that has already been invented even though they didn't invent it. It's weird how the patent system works in the US. I don't know how it works globally, but in the US, it's some sketchy shit. And that's why Nintendo pulling sketchy shit on top of an already sketchy system has, at this point now, fully seeded them into the realm of evil mega corporation. All the goodwill they built up over the years by being like good CEOs, by doing awesome things for their fans and their employees, right in the fucking trash can because they just decided to piss off everyone with these ridiculous patents, especially the recent one where they're like, yeah, we're going to patent creatures fighting creatures. What? That's like the fundamental essence of video games. But let's get into this article. I've rambled enough as it is. Nintendo's lawsuit against Palworld developer Pocketpair is still ongoing and unlikely to be resolved anytime soon, but a new look at the case file suggests a pretty striking stance from the Nintendo legal team. In essence, they're arguing the mods don't count as real games. That's a it's such a weird argument to say that mods don't count as real games because there are mods out there that have more story and more detail and more gameplay than some of the games that have been modded by modders. So to say it's not a real game, okay, I can understand to say it's not a monetary gain or it's not a game as intended to be played kind of thing. But to say it's not a real game just because it's been modded is ignorance, is profound, profound ignorance. But let's see where this goes. In 2021, shortly before the release of Pokemon Legends Arceus, Nintendo filed a patent in Pokemon style creature collecting mechanics. In 2024, after Palworld launched to wild success, the company registered a series of divisional patents under the previous patents umbrella, describing more particular parts of the Pokeball mechanic. Yeah, that right there, like, sorry to pause so much, but the provisional patents under another existing patent, that's where I think the line should be drawn. You should not be able to amend an existing patent, or if you do amend one, the uh, date of the amendment should be the new patent date, or should be moving forward for the amendment only, not the previous parts of the patent. It should not all be grandfathered into the original patent date, which is currently how it stands, which is totally fucked up because you thought of something years later that sort of applied to your thing. No, you saw somebody else do something and now you want to steal that credit. That's what it sounds like to me. That's what it seems like Nintendo's doing. They didn't think about the intricate aspects, and now that other people are exploiting them, they want to go back and say that they've always been that way, but they haven't been. We know they haven't been. We can see the patents. Where was I? The divisional patents at the heart of Nintendo's lawsuit against Pocketpair, the Palworld developer, pushed back with a number of examples of similar mechanics in games ranging from Final Fantasy XIV to Monster Hunter, from well before Nintendo's patents were issued. These examples, Pocketpair hoped, would constitute prior art and diminish Nintendo's patent claims. One such example that Pocket Pair highlighted was a Dark Souls 3 mod called Pocket Souls, and that's the crux of a new bit of legal analysis from Florian Mueller at Games Fray. Nintendo says that mods can't count as prior art because they can't stand on their own. Mueller suggests that an extreme position for the company to take, and courts usually reject attempts to narrow the pool for prior art references in unreasonable ways. It'll ultimately be up to the court to decide whether Nintendo's argument is valid, but if the company gets its way, this could set a dangerous precedent for the modding community. No, it could set a dangerous precedent for all video games moving forward because it allows companies to retroactively change patents in order to screw over new games, new companies, and new mechanics that were discovered after the patent was filed. That's what it does. That's why Nintendo's evil, and that's why I hope they fucking crash and burn. Hardcore. Hindenburg style. Oh, the humanity. I want to hear people screaming it. That's how bad I want Nintendo to burn and crash right now. Of course, Nintendo's lawyers probably wouldn't look at any collateral damage against mods as a particular worrying outcome. The company's already taken direct action against the Nintendo theme add-ons for Gary's mod, the Zelda Breath of the Wild multiplayer mod, and more, which has had Palworld modders feeling especially sketchy about Pokemon themed mods. We'll have to wait and see what the courts have to say about this particular argument, though. So, was Florian Mueller the expert or the dev that worked for Palworld? Called the Pocket Souls. And see, this doesn't tell me who Florian Mueller was. So I'm going to guess that Mr. Mueller or Mrs. Mueller or Miss Mueller, Florian, we'll just go there. We'll guess that Florian is the dev they're talking about because I see no other mention of devs in here, but it doesn't really matter. It's kind of an opinion piece. And like the article said, we got to wait to see what the judge says. Hopefully, the judge will understand the ramifications of the actions Nintendo is taking moving forward and sees that this could spell disaster for many industries, not just gaming. Being able to retroactively amend a patent is it's dangerous waters to enter. And there's no way to like, there's nothing else to say about it. It is a dangerous precedence. Period. End of discussion. It could spell doom for the entire industry. It really could. And I hope Nintendo loses. I don't know what a mod has to do with anything or why this person even said this because the article didn't even like address the situation. But yes, if Nintendo doesn't view mods as legitimate, but there are mods out there that exhibit the behavior their patents are trying to claim are unique, but Nintendo says, well, those don't matter. Well, you can't pick and choose. You can't say some of the stuff that's being stolen from us doesn't matter. Some of it does. No, it's either all or none, buddy. All or none, when especially in the court system, right? Either this is how this works or this is how it doesn't. It's going to take us, well, I guess, no, well, I don't know patent law that well. It could matter in patent law. I don't think it does. I'm pretty sure when it comes to enforcing the law, it has to be enforced equally across the board or it's not being enforced at all. But that's all I have for this video. We got this dev talking about mods and what it could mean for the lawsuit. I personally don't think mods are going to have any effect on the lawsuit. I think their latest maneuver where they're attempting to claim patents for things that they didn't invent or weren't unique to their games, especially when the patent was filed, will be what gets them. I don't think anything having to do with mods is going to set Nintendo back. But that's all I have for this story. This is your host, Belmont, signing out.